Hello there, Internet. So, I'm anything if not fashionably late for everything, including my own videos, which is why this video, which was supposed to go up days ago, is going up now. In fact, by the time you watch it, it's already late. Which is why this video that was supposed to be announcing and advertising the Readathon is going up the day the Readathon starts. I am in fact recording this at 11 PM the day before the start of the Readathon, because my time management skills are just that shit. So yeah, by the time this is edited, rendered, uploaded, it will be the 1st. It won't even be like the early hours of the 1st. This is probably going up the afternoon of Friday the 1st. So, cheers to being incapable of keeping to a deadline. That's the funny thing about running your own YouTube channel when you have ADHD, chronic fatigue, and chronic pain, is that you will miss every deadline you set. You will then miss the next deadline you set, and the backup deadline, and the seriously, this is the last minute deadline. But that's what makes everything so exciting, I suppose, isn't it? But as I was saying, we have a Readathon, and this is the 2nd annual Excessive Detail Readathon. We did this last year. It was a lot of fun. Then I got extremely ill at the end of the year. So for the last couple of weeks of the Readathon, I wasn't really tracking anything, and I only got about halfway through counting up the scores. It didn't matter because there was no competition in it. The winner was a runaway win. It was so one-sided it was laughable. Though the race for second place was close enough that I actually don't know who came second, because I never finished counting up all the scores. I will, at some point, I will announce the scores for last year and this year at the same time, so that we've got a proper leaderboard for both years. I still have all of the details, but that's not the point. That was just an unfortunate incident because of my poor health. Hopefully, we'll be free of that this year. Though I will say, officially, I will be announcing the winner at the beginning of February, 1st of February. I suspect I will miss that deadline. I will try very hard not to, but I suspect I will miss that deadline. This is the Readathon, and the Excessive Detail Readathon, it's a lot of fun. Everyone always enjoys it. The community has had great fun doing the last one. We had a bit of friendly competition. We read a lot of books. I read more books during the Readathon than I did for the year previous. And I fully intend to do the same now, especially as I've been in quite a reading lull the last few months. I've felt my reading drop down significantly, even though I have been at least somewhat keeping to my TBR. So how does the Readathon work? Well, it's as simple as this. We wanted to have a competition where there was actual competition, where there was a way to win. And the way you win is by reading. The thing is, we didn't just want to encourage people to read the most, because that just means that you're encouraging someone to just sit there day after day, just page after page, just pouring through every book one after the other until their eyes cross. That's just boring. No one wants to do that. So, I've changed it up a bit this year. There are new rules and a new system of scoring. It's similar, but it's not the same. I will be using something called the Dale-Chal formula. This is a system. This is what we did last year. This is a system of rating books for their readability. We'll be taking the book, we'll take the page count, not the page count, sorry, the word count of the book. Page count and word count are not the same thing. The number of pages can vary wildly depending on the size of the font, how many lines per page, the size of the page, the style of print. It really, really doesn't matter how many pages there are in a book. So I'll read 50 pages. 50 pages could be anything. Like 50 pages tells you nothing about that book. but word count does matter. So what you do is you take the word count and you divide it by 10,000. That gives you a score. For example, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is one of the examples I've got here. That is 77,000, so that becomes a 7.7. Moby Dick is 209,000 words, so that becomes 20.9. You then, because the whole idea is the more words, the more it's worth in the points, because it takes longer to read. That's the logic. So you don't end up with the same amount of points for reading a tiny novella as you would for reading one of the Sanderson bricks. You then take that and you multiply it by the Dale Chal rating. Now, I have a program that is used for working out the reading age for text for schools. I can take an ebook, I can feed it into that program, and it'll tell me the Dale Chal rating. Pretty simple stuff. It gives me the rating to one decimal place. So, Harry Potter, for example, has a Dale Chal rating of 6.3. So that'd be 7.7 times 6.3, which is 48.51. So that means the first Harry Potter book, if you read it in this readathon, would be worth 49 points. Now you understand? Moby Dick has a Dale Chal rating of 8.5, which gives it a score of 178 points, because it's 20.9 times 8.5. So that means that Moby Dick is worth over 3 times what Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is worth. That makes sense. It takes more than 3 times the effort to read it, so it's worth 3 times the points. Good, we're on the same page then. So, what are the rules for this readathon? Is it just read books and collect points? No. There is much more to it than that. We have quite a few rules and a few ways to make points up in other ways. Now, as we've seen, a fairly sizable book is worth about 150 points. So if you're reading a decent sized piece of adult literature, you're expected to get between 100 and 200 points. If you're reading a huge tome, you could easily expect to be getting 200 to 300, even 400 points if it's big enough. So, these are the rules for what we've got. You must read the book or listen to the audiobook in order for it to count to your point total. Simple as that. Rule 2. You cannot skim read or play the audiobook at a speed above 1.5 speed. This is going to be on the honour system. We're going to have to trust each other. But if you're skim reading or playing the audiobook on 3 times speed, you're not reading, you're a liar, you're a fraud, you're cheating yourself, and no one believes you. Your Goodreads account with all the number of books read is not an achievement. It's just you playing something on fast forward and listening to that and then claiming you've read a book. That's not reading a book. That's a joke. I don't know why you do it. So yeah. That's rule 2. We have no way of enforcing it, but frankly, if you're on this channel and you're in my community, you'll keep to room 2 because you've got at least some level of self-respect, surely. Rule 3. Points will be awarded based on both the length of the book and the reading comprehension level of the book, as explained above. I'm reading this off the rules that I posted to the Gilded channel, which you can find link in the description. Rule 4. If the book appears on the official Readathon crossword puzzle, see below, I will get to that later, you will get a flat 250 point bonus for reading that book. Just completing the crossword puzzle, whether you read the books or not, is worth a flat 500 points. Again, you'll see the puzzle below. Taking part in a buddy read in the Buddy Read channel on our Gilded server is worth a flat 250 points. You may only claim this once per month. So, reading a book as part of a buddy read, the book may only be worth 100 points, but if you buddy read that book, it's now worth 350 points. Well worth doing. Creating a professional style written book review, 800 to 1200 words, for the book reviews section of the Gilded server, again, link in the description, will get you triple points for that book. So, if you were doing that with Harry Potter, which is worth 49 points, you make a written review of that book, then that book goes from being worth 49 to being worth 147 points. That's pretty damn good. Suddenly, the first Harry Potter book's worth almost as much as Moby Dick because you spent the time to write a review on it. Rule 8. Creating a YouTube video, minimum 3 minutes in length, with the hashtag excessive detail, or one word, in its title or description, discussing the book will also make that book worth triple points. So you don't have to write a written review, you could read the book and then make a video about it. Right here on BookTube. Or, well, wherever this is, because it's not just on YouTube. I upload this to multiple different servers. So, you can upload this to any video sharing site, they'll all count, but YouTube's the one that most people use. Rule 9. Doing both a written review and a YouTube video will make the book count as 5 times the original point value. This is the maximum score you can get per book. So that Harry Potter book that's worth 49 points, well, that's now worth 245 points. If you both make a video about it and write a written review for it and post them to the Gilded server as part of this readathon. Now, you can already tell what this means. This means that the more people we have sharing reviews, sharing videos, and building our community, the more points you get, and you get rewarded for taking part in the community. So it's all one huge community building exercise, as well as being natural competition. I can't see how this will fail. This sounds like a fantastic opportunity. Rule 10. If you've already read a book that is in the puzzle, which we'll get to later, you can write a review or make a video and claim half the points from that book without needing to reread it. So if you read a book last year, but you feel that you can still write a review or make a video about it, you can do that right now. You can upload the video, you can post the review on the server, and you can get the points for that book straight away without having to do any additional reading, which means that if you decide, well, I read 5 great books, and I'd rather spend the time crafting some good reviews and making some really good videos, you can do that. And because you're still contributing to the community, you're still taking part, you're still getting the community spirit going, you're still getting points for this, you're still taking part in the competition. So you can technically take part in the readathon without reading anything, as long as you read it in the past. And we will know if you fake the reviews. We've got a keen eye. Someone, it will be a very specific someone, and you know who you are, will have read that book. He's in our server, he's read every fucking book. He will know if you faked it. Seriously, this guy reads more than anyone else I know. Anyway. Rule 11. Manga can be read as part of the readathon. Its score will count double to account for the lower word count and slower intended reading speed of manga. 12. In order to have your score counted, a list of all the books you've read must be sent to me by private message on my server by the end of the 1st of January 2023. The readathon lasts for 6 months, so you have loads of time to read loads of books and build up your list. 13. The person with the most points at the end of the readathon is the winner. That's pretty fucking obvious, I'd say. But it bears repeating, because you'd be surprised how many of these competitions are all just for the fun and the friends you make along the way. And then it's all just participation trophies and no one takes it seriously. Which kind of ruins the competition, I think. I mean, it is just a bit of fun. I'm not going to win. My reading speed's shite. And I know at least 3 of the people on my server read constantly all day, every day. Which means there is not a chance in hell I'm going to outpace them. Especially as there's every possibility that start YouTube channels and post videos just for the extra points, which means I can't even beat them that way. Not that I upload fast enough to be able to win that way anyway. But yeah, competition is healthy. I'm not going to win, but I'm going to take part, and winning is an accomplishment, so it will be shown due respect. Effort should be respected. Anyway, 14. The Readathon will run from the 1st of July 2022, which hopefully this video is up on. I hope that this video does not end up in some kind of rendering hell and end up on the 2nd. It could happen. It's happened before. Rule 15. Have fun, damn it. So that's the Readathon. Now, you heard mention of a puzzle. Now this puzzle, I'm going to put it on screen. You'll notice that it is a crossword puzzle, and some of the words have been filled in. The words in red, well, it's kind of like a dark reddish brown. They are just filler words. They don't mean anything. There's the words tiger, roar, deadbeat, snapdragon, transform, incarnate, staff, and picture. They are there just as filler words, because we needed to make sure that all of the book titles connected. So we needed a couple of filler words because they were a little bit too spaced out, and some of them only had one thing crossing over, so it was very, very difficult to make the connections and work out which they are. So, each of the unfilled clues is a book, the title of a book. These are popular books on BookTube. So these are books that BookTubers regularly spoke about over the last year. You'll notice there are no clues at all. This whole puzzle, the clues listed are just numbers and dashes. Those numbers are the number of letters per word. Each word is counted separately. So, for example, 3 across says 87327. That means the first word has 8 letters, second word has 7, third word has 3, fourth has 2, fifth has 7. That's one of the longer ones, 3 across. I believe. Yes. 3 across is in fact one of the longest ones. But yeah, some of them are as short as 13 across, which just is the number 4, because it's one word with 4 letters. Each of them is the title of a book. And the idea is that you are supposed to try and figure out which they are, and these being some of the most spoken about, most recommended, most loved books on BookTube, they should, in theory, all be great books. So, you should be able to find something that you really enjoy there. Well, that's what we're hoping. That's what we're hoping, is that by highlighting these great books that are regularly recommended, you'll be able to find something that you love, and you'll be able to engage with loads of other people. It'll also, hopefully, draw a lot of people in. Because these are the most popular spoken about books on BookTube, that means when you join our Readathon, you're going to be able to either find a couple of books in this list that you've already read because they're really popular, so you've probably read a couple, and write a review or make a video and join in that way. Or you'll find a couple of books in this list that are very popular and you've had recommended to you and you want to read anyway, so you can read them and join in. So there's loads of avenues to get you joining in. There are quite a few books in this list. There are a couple of rules on what books have made it into the list. The books are all either the first in the series or a standalone. There are a couple of slight exceptions to this, and one of them is revealed for you, which is 8 down, and that is His Dark Materials, which is the one that's already filled in. That book is an example of what the exceptions are like. As I was scouring around BookTube finding, I checked well over 100 videos from more than 30 different BookTubers to compile my list, but there were a few stories that were spoken about despite them being multiple books as if they were one book, and His Dark Materials was one of them. Very, very rarely would I hear someone talk about the Amber Spyglass. No one ever says that. You might hear someone talk about the Golden Compass, which is what the censored American version of Northern Lights is called. which is the first book in the series. But almost every person who spoke about this series spoke about it as His Dark Materials and used that name and spoke about it as if it was one book. And as I've shown in the past, it is one book, because I own that big fat copy of His Dark Materials, which is a single volume. So you can buy it as a single book, so it's one book. Now, I have used that logic on at least a couple of the entries here. His Dark Materials not the only one. Additionally, I could go back and add these in, but I just don't want to. Two of the entries, but effectively I'm giving you these letters for free. Two of the entries, which is 12 down and 9 down, should start with the word the, T-H-E, which means they're 3 shorter than they should be. Pretend I put the word the at the beginning. There's a few other books that also begin with the word the. They have that word in the title. So, the blank, 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 whatever. Those books are in here, and yeah, there should have been more thes. But yeah, I did consider dropping the word the from everything, but some books, if you take the word the off the beginning of it, the title just looks weird. Like, you are so used to calling it the something, or the something of the something, or the something, something, something. You're so used to calling it those things that without the word the at the beginning, it just seems weird. Whereas others, you naturally drop the word the from the beginning. So yeah, be aware of that. But other than that, all of these books are reasonably popular and easy to find. I know they're easy to find because I posted this puzzle yesterday, and one member of our community has managed to solve it already before this video went up, and they solved it without the hint words. I see all the words in the brownish red colour. Yeah, they were added after the fact. The person who solved this didn't have those words. They weren't in the puzzle. It was just the blank ones. So yeah, that's a scary thought, isn't it? They were that good. So they've already earned their 500 points for solving the puzzle, and they've also earned my begrudging respect and slight annoyance for being really good at puzzles. But anyway, all that aside, I think this is going to be great fun. I look forward to seeing what people come up with. I look forward to seeing the reviews. I look forward to seeing the videos. I look forward to taking part in the buddy reads. And I hope that a lot of people have fun with the puzzle. There's loads of different aspects to this readathon, and there's loads of ways to approach it. You can do it your way. If you want, you can set up buddy reads and reading sprints, and you can do them every month, and you can earn loads of points that way, and you can end up really high on the leaderboard that way. Or you can write your reviews, you can practice writing, practice your prose, build a small portfolio, make that your thing, and you can enter the readathon that way. Or if you really want to, you can just do, as some of them did last year, sit there just pouring through all the words like there was nothing else to do in life, and read thousands of pages of text, just more words than I've ever read in my life. You can do it that way if you wish. But knowing that there's at least one person on my server who will do it that way, I want to give people the option of doing it other ways, of engaging in the readathon in other ways, because otherwise that guy will win again. You know who you are. So yeah, I think we're going to have fun. This is an entertaining way of spending the latter half of the year. I think it helps build up the reading spirit, and especially for a lot of people, they'll do like New Year resolutions, and they'll really get into reading, and then by the time summer comes along, you're running out of steam, and you just... Well, this builds you back up again, and it tells you to get out there and start reading. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to start reading, and yeah, I hope you'll join me. So until then, I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll see you in Gilded. We can chat some books.